and also have as little jargon as possible, and that we need to be open-minded because there are culture changes going on here and that takes some time. And finally, that we need to focus on outcomes, sustainable ways of working and supporting local economies, quality of life and environmental quality. And many of our speakers kept emphasising that this is not a case of starting from scratch really, it's a case of building on what's happening and making the most of the skills and experience of the people involved. So Jill now will speak on behalf of Cymru's public sector chief executives to set the scene, the context, the framework for hearing some presentations on locality working in Cumbria.
And that reflects what we have in Cumbria, which is a place of localities that we really care about. We don't need a localism bill to tell us what localism is in Cumbria. We know what localism is because we are engaged in our communities. Our members, whether they're county council members, district council members or parish council members, care nothing more than their local communities. You may not know, but over £35 million of the county council's money is devolved to our local committees, our local members, to make decisions about how that money is spent with their local communities. And I don't think you'll find a county council in the country that actually devolves more money for local members working with local people to decide how that's spent.
Julie now explains how Copeland has been developing a structure for locality working.
When we started out on the journey, we decided that the best way was to ensure that our locality focus was around service centres, so we clustered our localities, our parishes, our towns, around the main service centres in Copeland, of which there are 4 key service centres, but that didn't quite fit. And one of the first things we did was a very silly mistake really. We just worked with 2 tiers. We worked with the county and the district. So very quickly we had to take a number of steps backward. And those steps backward were particularly recognising that if it's going to work, everyone needs to be involved. In terms of outcomes, is that we do now have 6 localities. We have 6 plans. They're all at different levels of development, but they're all there. They all have priorities. They all the partnerships meet on locally agreed cycles. They all build on what's there. They don't set anything new up unless they need to. And most important is that the community leaders of all the 3 tiers are at the core of that partnership. And so I think one of the strongest messages I would like to give you is that what has happened through our localities is that things are happening at the appropriate level. And so where things need to be delivered by the district or by the county or by the parishes, it is done so. I would just highlight to you, we have to listen to what's happened in the past to move forward. We need to integrate that learning into our new designs, and we need to rationalise things in partnership, not one person saying this or one group or organisation saying this is what we need to do. The biggest issue for us is the plan is everything. The locality plan is everything. The fact that it is built on the parish plans and the town plans. In Whitehaven, we've actually spent time going back through the wards and setting up and supporting with evidence the ward plans. You know, being able to do that and getting that shared out with the communities and using neighbourhood forums of the county council, because they're a strong part of our community element in our model, has been really, really important and needs to be seen as the kind of core tool continuing forward.
The energy, commitment and knowledge that local members bring to locality working is vital, whether it's parish, district or borough or county. It's so important really, and their energy, bringing local people behind them, is so critical. Here we have Keith, continuing with the Copeland story.
You have to make sure that what you're going to do is not only bring along the community support, but the support from the local politicians and the national politicians. It may not be the same in your area, but I know that in Mid and South Copeland things have changed. The dialogue now is about how can we help you, how can we make it happen. That's a big jump from the early 70s when it was, I don't think so. That was when they were kind. When they were not being kind, it was no, straight away. And it really sparked off the feeling I had when I was 28 working in Liverpool 8, that there was an opportunity to make a difference. Both these partnerships actually produced a memorandum of understanding. No binding, but what it says, an overarching objective: we want to work together to improve the quality of life for the residents within our partnership area. It's very difficult to engage with service providers. This is our next challenge, is how do we engage with the service providers at locality level?
By this point in the day, our audience had heard from some expert speakers that also had a chance to run through the issues in the workshops and also to hear from the public sector chief executives. So it was really time to bring our speakers back for some questions and clarification.
I'm very confused on where the new homes bonus is actually going to go to. I'd like to ask the panel members where they feel it should go.
The ethos of getting communities to have development put in there, providing it's done in a sustainable manner, then deriving some of the benefits from that is the way things should go. We're hearing at the moment they're looking at the figure of about 10% going back to communities. We suggested that that figure of 10% is too low.
I'd say this is a very complex issue, because if you actually say where should money go, then we would be, if I said, well, it should go to the county council, you'd all say that. She would say that. She's the chief exec, she's a bureaucrat. Actually, what we heard when we heard the presentation about what was important in Copeland was saving that local school. Where does the funding come from, that local school? Actually, that funding comes through the county council. And the difficulty is that if you actually say, you chase the money, and we've heard a lot of people saying, well, we've used new money. We're in a situation where there's less money for public sector. The challenge for us is to actually make all the money work to meet the needs of the local people. How could we have a discussion about what it should be used for? And then, secondary, who should have it in order to facilitate the outcome we want?
And therefore I think it's very important that the level of discussion starts within that locality.
It's a question about referenda. Could you tell us what the bill says about where the costs should fall and the triggers and the different groups that are in a position to request and the numbers that they would require?
All costs of